Okay, I'm calling the Library Board Finance Committee meeting to order. 6 p.m. Wednesday, June 11th, 2025. See, we have no visitors.
Want to do attendance?
I don't see attendance on here.
Oh,
We'll
I'll
do
call
it.
to order and attend, yeah.
Fine. Okay. Jason Craig,
Present.
Gary Barris,
Present.
I'm here, and Jennifer is here. Okay. Let's look at the minutes from the last meeting, which was July 22nd, 2024. Terry, did you notice anything that was out of the ordinary? Or, because it's you and me, because Mike was there, but Jason wasn't, so if you don't see anything, then I motion to accept the minutes.
So moved.
Second. Okay. Get that out of the way. Then the budget itself. I put together the spreadsheet. You did get that?
Yep.
Okay.
Got it right up here.
Okay, I do it in Excel. The rest of the world works in Google, whatever it is.
I have an Office 365 subscription, so all of it's good for me.
Okay. I changed it up just a little bit, and I added some extra columns. The first column of numbers is what we showed as an actual as of January 21st. The next column is what the actual was as of April 23rd. You notice anything that's highlighted? It's because that number changed. Now, this is an accounting thing for me, and it just irritates me that we're on a cash basis, which means if the cash came in, we record it when it comes in. So what we have January 21st, April 23rd, if it changed, that means somebody was being sloppy or lazy and wasn't recording things timely, in my opinion. And there's just too many things in which there were changes. Then I looked at this, because then the third column is a 2024 amended budget, and those numbers are pretty close to what we had as actuals. The 2025 budget is what we've got out there for the budget. And then usually what I do in this spreadsheet is when we're working on 2026, the top three lines going across are what I'm estimating we're going to have for increases, like in utilities, 3%, wages, 2%, general inflation, 3%, and I do a calculation where I add that 2-3% to a number. And what I had been doing is using like the 2025 budget and adding 2 or 3%. Well, that assumes that the budget for 2025 was accurate.
Okay.
If not, we're getting a number that's not good. And let's use an example and come down to office supplies in Fund 15, 5312. It's not a big number, but we had the actual number was 1612 for both January and April. The 2024 budget was 3,300. The 2025 budget was 100 and, see, inflation, I think I had 2% back then, it was 102%. So the 2026 budget is 3,509, 2025 was 3,405, but the only actuals that we've got is that we're doing like $1,600. So this one, as a percentage wise, we're just way over in the budget. Now, when I do a budget, I really want to have everything as close to actual that we think it's gonna be. I think that's the correct way to budget. So I'm kind of highlighting those things where we're off. And I use office supplies. Because so many numbers up on top, salaries, retirement, FICA, etc., those we get from the city. So we don't need to spend a lot of time on those. I would spend no time on them. Okay, so these are the kinds of things that I'd like to go through and see where are we off.
So I would like to just ask, are there items that have kind of a front load as far as what the budgetary number is, where the early springtime is the lion's share of the spending, and then that spending tapers off through the rest of the year? Or is that where we have exponential growth as far as the expenses go, and we need to kind of figure out, all right, well, how are we going to kind of square the circle, as it were?
I don't think we have exponential growth or the lion's share coming at a particular time on the calendar, but we do have contracts
Okay.
that maintenance contracts in particular, where you pay it all in February, for example,
Got it.
and then you don't pay anything else because you just paid the annual contract.
Sure.
So those kind of things come up.
Ebooks
is the shining example that
Because we're gonna pay the $10,004 bill at the June meeting, and that'll be it for the year.
yeah.
We'll be done.
But for 2026, is 10,046 accurate? Or don't we really know at this
We
point?
don't really know at this point, but
So
I
it's-
should be getting the MICLIS numbers pretty soon.
But it should be a good placeholder,
Mm-hmm.
where we're not too far off. Okay. So if we go through this thing after going through, I think all the numbers on top as far as revenue, the only one I have heartburn with is interest on investments. We under budget that every year, which is good. It gives us a little cushion. But, and again, this comes to us from the city, so if they
Yeah.
don't care, not much we can do about it. And reciprocal borrowing, we don't even get that till February and then post it in the prior year, so from a budget standpoint, that's fine.
And I don't know those numbers until October, which is when we're well into the budget
Yeah.
process.
Yeah. So, personal services area with all the salaries in it, and then employee benefits area, all come from the city. So the first numbers we get into is like equipment maintenance.
Could I raise a point of order?
Please, absolutely.
Well, it's only that, if this is a problem, that our minutes are before us, but we didn't mention that specifically. I recall that, at least not that I recall, a few minutes back, just in the normal order of things. Am I wrong on that?
I don't know what you're saying. We approved the
We
minutes.
approve the minutes.
Okay.
You made the motion, I made, after the
Okay,
motion.
I'm reading it differently. That's okay. All right, I withdraw that, what I had said.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, sorry. It
No, keep
So-
me on task.
was a long day.
Yeah, equipment maintenance, I think looks good. Software maintenance, I don't know what that is. Is that a maintenance contract?
Software maintenance, which number is that? Sorry.
5257.
52. What else is on this page? 52, 57.
Fund 15. The actual for
Yeah.
2024
It's a small
was
amount.
$100,
Yeah.
and yet we're budgeting like 700 something
That could probably be changed.
to 100,
Yeah.
and just leave it 100 going across.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can double check on what that was. I think it was, and we may not even owe that anymore because we're getting the Johnson Controls system, so we may not. I'll let you know. So I'm going to put a big
Yeah,
question. I'm going to circle that.
but if we have $100 in there, that's not going to make or break any budget.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah. That's software maintenance, sundry contractors, that's going to zero, cause that was dust-free, and the
Mhm.
contract is done.
Mhm.
And as a matter of fact, we're only gonna have 2 months worth of dust-free in 2025.
You're right, we're done with it now.
Yeah, so what we had in the budget of 39,000 is just way more than what we need.
But that will be not, some of that will be used in when we get to it, we'll talk about the interdepartmental charge. 'Cause
Yes.
that will go up,
And should've gone up 2 months ago.
yeah.
So we're still waiting to find out what
Those
that's gonna
numbers
be.
we'll get from the city.
Yeah. Postage. This $350 area is gonna be good? I think so, I don't know of anything that's,
It just depends, it depends on what
postage keeps going up.
yeah.
Are we mailing a lot of things, or do people
Yeah.
pick them up here?
Yeah, we've been mailing a lot of books back to Ingram, cause we had a snafu with ordering, and we were getting duplicates. And it was our fault, so it might be a little
But-
higher than normal.
Yeah, but those
It's
those
one
kind of
time.
things, yeah, are more one time. Sending out flyers to people about programs that we've got coming up or
We
anything.
don't, yeah, we just mail out bills.
Okay, so the 350, do you think that
I think-
might be reasonable?
I would keep it, mhm.
Okay. Office supplies. This is the one I started with because we had 1,600 actually in '24. But we seem to be budgeting over $3,000 each year.
We just must have been really good with office supplies last year.
You're going with that.
I mean, cause that's half, we only use 50% of our office supplies.
Do we want to be really good every year? I mean,
Well,
Or is that like, or would this
We're not-
become a mechanism to build safety stock?
yeah, cause we're not normally this good with office
Okay.
supplies. I don't know what happened.
okay, so
I
don't-
would keep it, cause.
keep it.
I mean,
Fine.
that's our copy paper. That's our
I know.
tapes. Yeah.
Did
I'm
we
very,
have
very
a lot of
surprised.
inventory that we spent down or something?
Maybe we bulked up. I mean, maybe we stocked up the year before on copy paper or something.
Okay.
Sometimes if there's a special, Maureen will, or if we have a coupon, Maureen will order and get ahead, save money. But
Okay.
I'm just like, I'm shocked that we only spent half of it. That's not normal.
Let's see. Do we have office supplies in 16? Yeah, we do.
Yeah. But office supplies in 16 is programming supplies, and we
Okay.
often go over in that.
Well, our actual, was $15,200 and we only had a budget of 11,000.
Yeah, but the foundation, we get money from the foundation to help with some of that stuff, but yeah, that's,
Okay. But let's leave it, again, it's small dollars.
I mean, we were really good with office and operating supplies in Fund 15 last year, which is kind of a miracle.
Yeah.
We were a little bit over in printing, but
Yeah, but that's not a whole lot. And we upped that a little bit.
yeah,
Printing, paper, those kinds of things, it's hard not to see them going up.
and we print all of our stuff in-house.
Okay, so operating supplies, we were really pretty close to budget. 13.7, 2026, we're guesstimating it's gonna be 13.591. This one I didn't understand because I put this spreadsheet together. I couldn't understand how I came up with 13.591. I think I added 2% to the 2024
4,
actual or something, because the amended budget was 14.3, the 25 budget is 14.7, suddenly we dropped to 13.591. That seems too low, other than our actual was 13.7 in 2024. But again, you'd expect something at least 14,000,
I would, yeah.
if not 14.3 or something, for 2026.
Yeah.
So should we go
I think you should go higher on that one, yeah.
What, 14,
Um,
3, 14, 5?
I'll probably do 14.5.
Okay,
I mean,
got it. I wrote it down. It's in ink. We move on. E-books we already talked about. Telephone, we know is going to 0.
yeah,
Subscriptions. We spent in 2024 $19,095. The amended budget was 18,833, so we overspent that. The 25 budget is 33,000. Is that? Oh, we picked up Hoopla.
Yeah.
I put the note right
yeah.
there. So we
That
want.
may not even be enough.
Yeah, for 2025 or 2026. What do you
No.
think?
Well, we're on pace to be like at 19,000 for Hoopla,
Just on Hoopla.
just on Hoopla.
And other subscriptions.
Although I am cutting some others online subscriptions.
Because we're not using them, or you're trying to save money?
Save money and not getting enough use to justify what we're paying for them.
Okay. So, we have 33,000 there for 2026.
Yeah, I don't think that's enough. Now, Micflis is still trying, we're still talking at the Micflis level about strategies for replacing Hoopla with something else and being more cost effective.
Okay. So at this point, should we leave the 33 in there for 26? 26 is 6 months away. Or do we sign a contract in, because it's a subscription?
It's, so we pay quarterly, so I just got the bill, it was like 4,000,
4,000.
4,000
Hoopla.
something
Hoopla
for
alone.
Hoopla. Mhm.
And what else do we have in there? Can you think of anything?
Yeah,
offhand?
the print subscriptions, which is about 45, I'd say 4,500. And then our magazine, or not magazine, newspaper subscriptions, which the Chicago Tribune's really expensive.
Yeah.
And so, and that's the Journal Sentinel, Chicago Tribune, Wall Street Journal. What are the other ones? Barron's, Business Journal. I would say probably about 4,000 for those.
Okay. So you gave me a 4,500, a 4,000, and
Roughly 19,000 for Hoopla.
19 for Hoopla, so we're at 27.
But there's some other there's some others in there too.
So the 33,000 might be a good number.
No.
No, Hoopla's going up, you said.
I don't think 33 seems low to me. Because there's also some databases that we get.
Okay.
We pay 3,700 for the Journal Sentinel online. Although I'm looking at that because the usage isn't as good as I would like for how much we're spending for it. So
Okay. So
I'd probably go up at least 36,000 on that. So if you add, so if you take what we spent, the actual in April of 25, the 19,095, and add 16,000 to that, that's probably what I would go with.
okay, I wasn't adding in my head. What was the first number you said?
That 19,095,
19,095,
yeah,
and then
add 16,000.
So we're looking at 30.
I'd say 35,000, 35 to 36,000.
35.
Because we have 33,000 budget.
Yeah, 33,400. 35,400. What do you think?
That's fine.
Yeah, it's a swag. Jason, you know what swag is?
Is that the free stuff you get at a
no.
conference?
Yeah.
When you're guessing a number, swag that stands for scientific wild ass guess.
Oh, got it.
Membership dues, 1,704. I think that's probably a good
Yeah.
number.
Yeah, that should be pretty good.
Conferences, we run through 16.
Yep.
Allocated insurance costs, again, we get this from the city, but that 38,000 is probably a good placeholder. Mileage,
I would-
454,
Mhm.
that's fine. equipment rental. This was a 5-year contract, so the 2987, well, that's the note I have, so the 2987 is probably a good number. If it's a contract.
What's that for? What is
The copier, staff copier, and the shredding. We have a shredder, a shred bin that gets picked up every month,
Okay.
but that's only $35 a month.
$35?
Yeah, although the company's changing, hopefully they won't change the prices.
Just hold on to it till the community shred day.
Oh, man.
Miclis computer. It's down quite a bit because the note here, Miclis is covering more costs, so we're not paying as much. But is the 18,540, is that good?
Again, those are numbers I should be getting soon.
But
Steve will be sending out soon, and I can let you know as soon as I get them.
Okay. Four numbers. Water, I think that's probably good. Each month it's like, what, 450 or something?
Yeah. Now, yep,
That's water and sewer.
yeah, city puts those numbers in. I think.
Okay.
But, I mean, I think that's a good placeholder. I think that's good.
Okay. Electricity,
That should be going down.
yeah, my note says electricity will not be going down.
Well, because of our solar,
Are we?
it's online now.
It is now, okay.
Mhm.
As of our last meeting, it wasn't.
Yeah, they just got the permission to operate,
So,
yeah.
to know what electricity is, we're a ways off. The
Yeah,
last-
I would even maybe cut 25% off.
Well, the last actual we had was $91,995. We were gonna be budgeting for 86,008, whatever. That's, what, 5%? Roughly, down? And you're thinking we're gonna save 25%. Electric rates are probably not gonna go down. So if we take 75% of 91,000, that'd be close to 70,000.
I mean, we should see a lot of savings because every single light in here will be LED.
Yeah, but we were doing that already and talking about what kind of savings we were gonna have, and I never saw it on our electric bills.
Yeah, the March electric bill was down quite a bit, like 1,900.
Okay.
I have the,
What attributed to that? Was that the LEDs alone?
I was wondering if it was the LEDs.
Well, cause
LEDs and maybe a mild, or well, no, because the electricity isn't the natural gas.
we'd been putting LEDs in for the last 2 years.
It would almost, no. We had the LEDs that I put in when I first started as director, and then these LEDs, and those LEDs just started in February.
No, then we were talking about it for the last 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been talking about the city doing, as part of the whole project, the
Okay.
Johnson Controls project.
So what do you feel is a good number for 2026?
I would say that 25% off of 91,995. Yeah. Maybe 25% of 92,000.
I didn't bring a calculator. Or 75% of 92,000.
$92,000.
Yeah, times 0.75.
69,000.
69,000. Can we put 70 in there?
If it makes you feel better.
Yeah. I just don't wanna come in just too late. Okay, sewer isn't gone, but I don't get rid of it. 15.7 natural gas, that may be pretty good, a pretty good number,
Yeah.
okay?
Oh, you put in 15,700?
Yeah,
Because based on what we spent in 2025.
2024.
Yeah.
We haven't
I mean,
spent
we
it.
are gonna have new boilers, they're putting them in right now, and they're more efficient, so Johnson Controls told me we should cease it. It should help us with the gas bills, so.
10%?
I would probably keep it 15.7,
Good,
yeah,
I agree. Janitorial supplies,
those are always,
kind of a crapshoot. Yeah.
Joe was really good at keeping track of all of it. Bob Tesh was, we were always over.
Well,
I would
the-
keep it at this though,
Okay.
Yeah.
Building
Good.
maintenance systems, I don't know what those are, but they were actually 33,718 in 24, and now they're half of that in 25 and 26.
we had that huge bill with the air conditioning last year.
Oh, that's,
That inflated that number quite a bit, because that was like a $20,000 bill.
yeah, okay, yeah.
So if you
Y-
take,
you're right,
if you take
that was
20,000 off of
23,000, yeah.
that, we only spent 13,718.
Yeah. So is the 17,000 too much? Now that we're improving all these systems?
Well, you hope, right? You hope that we could knock that down a little bit.
Yeah, I got a bunch of question marks there, because I'm like you, I think this is a difficult one to know where we
'Cause-
should gonna be.
Because the things covered under building maintenance systems would be any repairs to the HVAC and the boilers. Well, we're gonna have brand new, right?
Yeah,
So we should not, and there should be right? There should be warranties on them.
Should.
and the city should be paying for it anyway.
So I think you could knock that down even more, maybe even to 10,000. Unless you're too nervous about that.
No, I'm not too nervous about that. With everything being new,
Yeah.
we might be able to go down to 6,000, but
Mm-hmm.
let's.
I think 10,000 is a nice number because
Yeah,
it gives you space for the what if, and you know those aren't we can put it up because those are really mission critical sort of
yeah,
items.
And we'll still have some maintenance done to them. Just not, hopefully, the big repairs.
okay, so this is gonna, do we have something set up where they're gonna come in and look at everything and,
We should, because remember how the library board was big on preventative maintenance? So we should once a year at least have a good, or even twice a year, have a good
once over, have
look
somebody
over
come in, yeah?
and do things. So that we should continue to do that. But I think 10,000 would be enough for that.
Okay,
To winterize and for
Clean,
yeah,
and-
spring cleaning and winterizing.
okay.
So I would, yeah.
Flooring at 1,900, I like that number.
Flooring, they always seem to go over though.
Yeah, our budget was 1,237, we spent 1,928.
Because Packerland raised their prices on us quite a bit. Like the truck fees for delivering stuff and just,
So take it
but
from
I still think,
2,000?
I would probably do 2,000, yeah.
Maintenance other.
That's stuff like, sprinkler,
Yeah, but we spent in 2024 4,930.
Mm-hmm.
Our budget for 2025 was 8,500,
Mm-hmm.
and we knocked that down to 6,000. Keep it at 6.
well,
I'm not sure what
Yeah.
other is.
so in the past, what I've paid out of there is like replacement of bulbs, but we're not gonna have as many bulb replacements because we're LED now,
Yeah,
right?
and those bulbs should
And
last.
those
a
should
long time.
last a long time, where at the fluorescent bulbs, we were constantly replacing
Yeah.
those. So 6,000 could be fine.
Okay.
It really could.
I
And
was-
maybe what we could, well,
I was thinking if anything, we could lower it even further because in
I probably-
2024, we spent less than 5,000.
well, I'm not sure how many I think I'd feel more comfortable keeping it at 6,000,
6 it is.
yeah.
And then, the interdepartment charge, we don't know what that's gonna be. Right now, it's
We-
running at 4,490 a month.
And I would think that, take that and then add
Can-
2% onto that. Let's see what that is.
Well, we dropped dust free and we added
Mark,
Mark.
but that was a savings.
It was a saving from what we're paying plus dust free, but I don't think we're gonna, when we drop dust free, are we gonna pick up another $1,000 a month for Mark?
Almost. I mean, so Mark was like 20 something and we 25,000 and we were paying dust free like 38,000.
3,152 a month. Yeah, 39,000. Right in
So
there.
you're saying right now we're paying $4,400 a month for,
4490, I believe it is.
let's say 4,500 then. 54,000? It seems kind of low.
But the 4490,
Yeah. But if you say that's what we're paying now,
oh, yeah.
because
Well-
Mark started in March.
Okay, January, it was 4690, and then 4490, and then 4690, and nothing in April.
Oh, that's weird. I wonder
Well-
if they're not counting Mark yet.
Well, yeah, and I don't know why there was nothing in April. I think that's one of those things where it was posted, but we already had our reports out.
So dust free ended at the end of February, right? The end of February.
Yeah. And so March and April, but this, I'm sorry, this doesn't surprise me that the city's behind on this stuff.
Okay.
I mean, we don't get the electric bills on time.
I
There's
would.
all kinds of things just aren't being done timely.
I would make it closer to 80,000 myself. But now the city will put that number in, but for placeholder, I would say 80,000 would be more my building for the interdepartmental charge.
80. And we've got 55,496.
Because these were the original numbers when we didn't have dust free.
Okay,
When we did have dust free, I mean.
okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can,
Yeah, I would say 80,000 is, I mean, it's a good placeholder. It probably will be less than that, but I would just,
dust free.
because dust free was costing us what, 30,
We
52
paid
a
in
month?
2024, 49,549. Our budget was 39,140, but at 3,152 times 12, I think that's your 39,140. So if we drop 39,000 and we go from 55 to 80, we picked up another 25, so we have some savings, not all of 39.
Yeah, because we had savings
Okay,
from switching from dust free to our own person.
you talked me into it, you silver-tongued devil. 80,000 it is.
That might be high, I'm not sure.
It might be, but we're gonna get it from the city, and who knows if
Right.
it's high.
I mean, it's just be a place.
Maybe we should put 70,000 in there, and then when they look at it, they'll go, "Oh, they're only expecting 70." And they're probably listening to this tape before they do it. We won't play games. We'll give them the 80 if they ask for it. Furniture, we got 5,000.
Now that's where that capital improvement sheet comes in. Did I give that to you, Terry?
No.
Okay.
You got an extra?
Oh, so, as of right now, I have the possibility in 2026 of replacing the meeting room chairs and getting new desks for Carrie and I. Our desks are really bad. I can't even open some drawers without. But
It's good exercise.
yeah. But that's also something that doesn't have to be done. It's just, part of my.
I get it.
The meeting room chairs are pretty bad. I'll be honest with you. They look pretty bad.
These?
No, the 100 and something chairs we have in the meeting room, Phaedro meeting
Oh,
room.
the Phaedro?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't see them often enough to know.
Yeah, they're pretty and I've had them cleaned and the stains don't come out.
Okay,
There's a lot of stain. I mean, some of them I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't want to sit on it.
so you're looking at,
They're fabric. Possibly replacing the meeting room chairs.
okay, we got 10,000 for computers. Now we can keep that there.
That's good, yeah.
We've got, okay, the self-check thing we took care of. Furniture, you've got 55,000 here.
Which one?
Furniture.
Oh, furniture.
So
Yeah.
that'd be furniture and fixtures, 5,000, and, yeah, what, so you want that to go up to 55,000? Or is that only 5,000 or 10,000 and the fund balance portion is,
Yeah, fund balance would have to pick up.
how
some
do
of
we
it.
do that?
You just, the same way, you just put the number then we would spend and it would just be it over at the bottom and we
So-
would use fund balance
So
for
we'd
it.
put 55,000 in there.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's a ballpark. So that'd be $300 per chair, and I don't know that I would spend that much per chair, but you never know.
okay. You've got it there, so we should have it here.
Right,
So
yeah,
they're the same. Building improvements, we had 9,000.
yeah.
You know, it's really building that should be the city.
The building improvements,
Yeah, because the city has the building and we as the quote-unquote renter are responsible for everything inside. That's the way
yeah.
I've always talked about it and nobody's ever told me that's not right.
I guess I put the placeholder of 9,000 in there in case we needed like roof work or,
Again, city,
yeah.
part of the building. Well, let's leave the 9 there. Computer equipment, we got the 10, so that's okay. Library materials,
Yeah.
80,637. That's about what we spent in 2024. Okay, but we also in Fund 16, we have library materials. If we look at in 2024, 16 had 8,760 and 15 had 79,000, so we're at 87,000, almost 88,000 total. Here we've got for 26, 80,637 and 12,000, so we're at 92,000. It's probably a reasonable increase.
I mean, yeah, because they're gonna get more expensive. They're gonna go up.
How do we break this out as to what goes into 16 versus 15?
We don't. We spend Fund 15 up and then move into Fund 16.
But we don't like
There's no-
move in at the end of the year or something. We just kind of watch it month by month. And 20% pulling a number out of the air. 20% goes to 16 and 80%.
No, we pay everything out of Fund 15 until we've used up Fund 15.
You have a
That's
mon-
what the board wanted me to do.
Do you have a monthly use up? How do you know when you've used it up?
So, oh, I keep track of it.
Oh, yeah, but
Yeah.
we budget this on an annual basis. We
Mhm.
don't do it month by month,
No,
do we?
no. And some months we order more. October is a big month for ordering. That's when a lot of stuff comes out. But then say July is not a big month for publishing, so we don't buy as much. So it fluctuates. Each librarian, Carrie and I go through and we divide up the budget amongst the librarians, and then it's their responsibility to keep track of it and make sure they don't go over.
Well-
So they may order more in January, February, March, but then,
But you don't put a particular librarian into 16 versus 15.
no. So we use up 15. So when we get the bills,
You-
we pay them out of Fund 15.
I need a definition of used up. January, first month of the year, we spend $12,000 for library materials. How much of that, got a $90,000 budget. So really, we didn't use it all up. So nothing should go into 16.
So every month we pay,
Yeah, but every month we buy $12,000 worth, and at the end of the year would be $144,000. But we're into August by the time we've used up the budget of 90,000 in 15, and then we start putting everything into 16. That's not true. Things go into 16 and 15 every month. I don't understand the
library
process.
materials. We used to, but remember the board told me they wanted to make sure I used up Fund 15 first?
No.
So Carrie and I switched, and now just all materials come out of Fund 15 until we're down to nothing, which usually is about October, November.
Okay.
So the beginning of last year, we were spending some out of Fund 16. Do you have the monthlies?
I had the one where we have the monthly, and I can't find 16 for that.
So the budget isn't, it's not exactly 12,000, or it's not a set amount every month.
Okay.
Because like I said, some months are heavier with published publications and stuff than published books than
Okay.
others.
You've got it under control.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever gone over budget on materials. I don't think we ever have.
Okay. I was trying to nail it down and understand it more,
Yeah, so
and maybe I
the
should.
way we do it now, as opposed to the beginning of last year, is every bill that comes in for our library material gets paid out of Fund 15. And then we keep track of it, the numbers, by the month. Every month we look. And usually it's like October, November, we run out of Fund 15 and start using Fund 16.
Okay. Which is kind of what Jason was asking right when you started.
Yep.
Do we use up certain things in the beginning of the year and then it tapers off? And for library materials, it's big in 15 and then it goes away.
Well,
and it's
over time, yeah, it's
okay.
for about 10 months. For about 10 months, it'll be big in 15 and then we switch over to, does that make sense? Because
Truthfully, no, but that's okay.
Because
If that's
when
what
we,
the board wanted.
when Carrie and I budget, we budget materials from 15 and 16 together, and we add those together, and we give those numbers to the librarians. We divide it up. So kids gets like 50%, adult, actually kids gets more like 40 or 45%, teens gets like 20%, and then adult gets the rest. But each librarian has a budget that they have to stick to.
Okay. So, getting down to the brass tacks of it though, what we have in the budget for 2026, 80,637 in 15 and 12,040 in 16. You think that's gonna be good? That'll be 92,
What was it? I'm sorry, what did we
80,
spend this year?
8637 in
Cool.
15 and 12,040 in,
So 98,000, so 98,000?
no, 92,
Yeah.
almost 93. 92.7. And if you say, yeah, that's not gonna be enough.
Well, we were fine this year, it's just the cost will go up, means we'll buy less. So library materials, we spent 12,000 plus, sorry.
Library materials in 2024, we spent 8,760 and 79,203.
Okay,
So that combination is
I mean, we are.
87,000
Yeah.
roughly. And
So I
we're-
think 92, yeah. I mean, we are buying less DVDs. So our AV budget is, we've cut that significantly.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
But
I
then
don't see many
again,
good movies coming out.
but then again, we might spend more on books.
That's,
We will spend more on books
okay,
and wonder books and,
then we have just,
but I think 92 is,
okay, we just finished 15.
okay.
16, in the revenue area, as I looked at it, we're close. For 2024, in total, we had $64,000 in revenue, and we're budgeting in 2026 $60,890.
Mhm.
Incredibly enough, we're pretty close on interest on investments in 16.
Mhm.
We're just way off in 15.
Actually, I think we came up with those numbers in Fund 16. You say the numbers will be given to us by a city, but I think that we came up with those numbers, which might be why they're closer.
Oh.
Because we might have been a little more conservative, you know?
Mhm. What's miscellaneous revenue?
That's when we buy stuff for the foundation and they reimburse us.
That's the reimbursement. Okay, so we got 88,657 in 2024,
Mhm.
and we're budgeting 4,000 for 2026.
Yeah.
And you're happy with that? Because like under half.
Yeah, I mean, we could even do less than that. The reason is because I've been given the foundation more of the bills to pay out of their own.
So they're paying it,
They're writing checks more than we are paid.
then giving us money.
But they're still giving us money.
Yes.
I would probably keep it at 4,000.
Okay.
I think that's fine.
Okay. And then, when I rolled through the expenses, sundry contractors, 5299, was the first expense line that I thought was too low. Oh, 2024, we had 13,000 in sundry contractors, but we had a strategic planning consultant,
Yep,
and that's why it should only be 8,000.
yep. And I think we had some contractors that were paid for by the foundation that we got reimbursed for.
Okay. So, as I go through
Maybe I would do 9,000.
9,000 for
Yeah.
sundry contractors?
Yeah.
Got it. Should. After that, the only one that's off a large percentage amount is subscriptions. We spent $1,400, but we're budgeting 3,000.
Yeah, because we gave up some subscriptions that we used to pay for out of Fund 16.
So do we still want 3,000 in there?
Yeah.
Okay. And conferences.
Yeah.
It's up to 3,000. 2024 is only 926, and that's because that's what we do. That's what we spend roughly when we drive to a conference. But if we fly, that's how we popped it up to 3,000.
We rarely fly. Carrie and Brittany flew last year, but that was because it was paid for by a grant.
Oh, okay. So we didn't really pay for it anyway.
No.
Well, we did, but then we had money come in.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, what do we do with this number? Leave it at
I
3?
would go, for 2026. I suppose we could leave it. We could leave it.
Do that 3,000?
Yeah. I know the board wants us to, some of those national conferences are much more valuable than the state conferences in terms of inspiration, ideas,
But you have to fly to nationals?
sometimes. Depends on where they are. ALA, I think, is in Chicago next summer, so we wouldn't have to fly.
Okay.
But we'd have to pay for a hotel down there. I'd probably keep it at 3,000. I don't know that we'll use that much, but
Okay. Mileage?
I think 400's fine.
It's not worth quibbling about.
Yeah.
Equipment rentals, that looks like it's pretty much right in line.
Yeah. That
You'll-
should be pretty static. We don't get the mobile hotspots anymore. So we might even be able to drop that.
Okay, I don't know how much we would drop it.
Let me just see. Um, 2,500 maybe?
Take it to 2,500?
Yeah.
Okay. Equipment rental, 2,500. Building maintenance other? Got 1,000.
Those are, that's the money I spend on the flowers outside,
Oh,
on the outside building, and some inside, like,
these are annuals, obviously.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd probably keep it at, I wouldn't go over 1,000.
Okay, 1,000 it is.
I mean, you can see we only did 558 last year.
Yeah. Furniture and fixtures, we got another 5,000 here from 16.
Yeah. So we divide that between the Fund 15 and Fund 16.
Okay, but we got 55,000 in 15 because that's what we had here.
Mm.
But that should then be 50,000.
Yeah.
We already talked about library materials. Computer equipment is in 15. Volunteer recognition, and we blew that out of the water in 2024. Spent over 3,000.
That was because of the strategic planning.
Oh,
I thought we had increased that. That's weird.
but I thought that strategic planning was going to be under sundry contractors.
That was for the,
For the,
that was
for
for
the
her.
consultant, not,
But I had extra expenses, like, because remember the strategic planning committee got
Oh,
dinner provided. Like they
yes,
got
yes,
like
yes.
dinner provided when they came in.
And people who responded to the survey
Got a gift card.
yeah.
So there were like all these little expenses, but I could
Yeah.
have sworn that we amended that. I don't know.
So what do you think volunteer recognition should be?
It should be 2060. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we're not doing strategic planning. So volunteer recognition is like once a year we have a volunteer breakfast for our volunteers. So we have that catered in the Phaedra room.
okay.
And then like Friday night we have our Summerween program for children's, and we're going to be getting subs for staff who stay and work.
We're getting subs this year instead of the steak and lobster like we always do.
Yeah, Annie's
now that-
always like, what
Now
do
that
you
Jason's
guys
here, we
get?
gotta watch it, yeah.
Annie's like, what do you guys eat? I'm like, subs or pizza or, sometimes I'll get, sometimes I'll pick up bagels on the way in just as a thank you.
Sure.
Usually at the beginning of summer reading, we'll have some, or at the end of summer reading, we'll have like a little luncheon just to say thank you for your hard work and stuff like that. So that all comes out of volunteer recognition.
Okay. Well, we've just gone through the budget.
Okay.
Anybody have questions, comments, things that you go, I wasn't sure about this, whatever.
I used that up at the beginning, so.
It's all pretty straightforward. I don't see anything that raises a lot of eyebrows on this.
You see much more complicated budgets at the city level. Yeah, so this is nothing for you.
Seeing the, some of the other, like inspection services and fire, PD, that's always fun.
So, you'll fix the sheet and then send it to me to put in the packet?
Oh, for the next meeting. When is the next meeting? This Monday?
No, the following Monday.
23rd.
Good, I like that. I will have this to you tonight with the changes
Okay,
that I wrote down.
and then I'll put it in the board packet
Okay,
What was that meeting time, meeting date? Sorry,
June 23rd.
June 23rd.
Yeah, so a week from this Monday. So this Monday, we'll have the foundation, joint library board foundation meeting at 6:30.
Okay.
And I need a quorum of library board. I need at least 5 library board members there. So I know Maria's gonna be there,
I'll be there.
you'll be there, Annie will be there, Terry, you can make it,
As far as I know, yeah.
Jason
Nothing
can make it,
Comes to mind.
June, it'd be this coming Monday,
The 16th.
yeah.
I'll try to, because I have a whole mess of other stuff this week where it'll be like I have to do my distance stores.
So I have Mike Karolevich as a yes, so that would be a quorum.
Okay.
I just have to have at least 5.
I will do everything I can to get here. for
If you
that.
can't, I
you can.
think we're gonna be okay. To look on I have to double check my doodle poll that I sent out. But I think,
You did send it out?
mhm.
When did you send it out? Again, I didn't get it.
I think because, yeah, but you're okay for Monday evening, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you just told me it was the 16th or it came up.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay,
It came up at the, well, yeah. I will make sure that you're added. I don't know how you got deleted from my email list, distribution list, but
I don't know, I do piss people off, but,
I had all kinds of problems with my email.
yeah, blame it on the computer, because
Yeah.
otherwise it's me,
My
you know.
husband says it's a poor player that blames his cards.
Oh, I always heard it was a poor workman who blames his tools.
That too. But yeah, I'll get. Thank goodness you can make it.
Okay, I should be there.
6:30 though, instead of 6.
Oh, and we're still waiting for the MICFLIS number, so I'll get this
Yeah.
all updated, and I'll get it to you.
And I'll look out for the MICLIS numbers, because they should be, he usually has them
Okay.
pretty soon, because he knows we're working on the budget. So if I get them, yeah, I'll get them to you as soon as possible. They're just gonna be estimates though, because he can't give us firm numbers until later in the year, but at least we got
This-
something.
This whole thing is estimates for the
Yeah.
most part.
The 16th, is that the 6:30?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
anything else? Other than motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Moved in second, and you took notes that these guys said that? Okay, good.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry, I should have said that.
So we're ending at 6:58 PM.
Wow.
You said it'd be about